Lee and we are IDLES, or 2/5 thereof. And we're here at Roland and Boss.
Did it at the wrong time.
Sorry?
Did it at the wrong time.
You did. What are you doing?
I got excited.
Right, let's
Start
go back
again.
to start. And we're here at Roland and Boss today to show you a thing or two about us and the stuff that we do. Hello! We are going to be doing Danny Nedelko, which is a song I barely know how to play myself. So I'm just going to show you the verse, which is a lot of trem picking and very straight and easy. The chorus, which is a lot of pretending you know how to play guitar. And then there's the middle 8 bit, which again is further me pretending I know how to play guitar. So we'll start with the verse. Cool. So... So if you're trying to learn this part, just remember that like trem picking is really hard to do, and it's all about muscle memory and getting yourself built up to playing the whole way through the verse. This is why I have a delay on it, because you can slow down and you can make mistakes, and it's very forgiving. So this is the reason why a lot of guitarists, famously the Edge, uses a lot of delay, because it's a very forgiving effect. So I'll show you what I mean, because I'll play it slow and it'll still sound like I'm playing the song. So. And just basically play around with it and kind of until your forearm gets kind of strong enough and able to cope with doing it. But yeah, the thing with all our parts in songs is that it's supposed to be about feeling. It's supposed to be about kind of where you what you're picking up on at a time. You know, if the drums are really crashing, then you're going in with that. If the vocalist is really giving it stink, you go with that. And it's all kind of about the feeling at the time, rather than sticking directly to this really important chuk, 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 chuk. So this is the chorus of Danny Nedelko. Now this bit is because I wrote this part purely because the chorus is way too nice. It's way too major chordy. It's way too happy for IDLES, and I wanted to mess it up a little bit. So if you notice in the song, there's a reference to Pavement. So I listen to a lot of Pavement songs, and they kind of do this really wonky, bendy, single string kind of vibes going on, and that's essentially what I've done on the chorus here. Cool. So yeah, the chorus is kind of like just a single note again. I don't like to make things complicated, and it's just a really simple following the major chord progression. But what you got to do is you just got to be a bit loose with your left hand, so kind of pulling the string a little bit, and making it wobble a little bit. You can do, again, it's kind of the feel. What it feels like at the time. If it feels like you need to be playing it straight, play it straight. If you want to go a bit wonky, play it a bit wonky. Now, one of the key things that I learnt whenever we were recording this chorus was that because you're playing heavy gauge strings, bending it up to the notes and getting it in the right kind of key and sticking to the key can be quite difficult. So one of the tricks that I learned to do is actually to use 2 fingers when doing the note. So even though you're not playing that fret, so if you've got your 3rd finger on the fret that's making the note, if you boost it by playing that, you're going to be able to pull a lot harder and get the note where you want it to be on the bend. So that's something that I learned in that. I don't know whether you'll actually see any evidence of that if you come see us live, but hey. So yeah, I'll play it for you slower and show you what I'm doing. Now the middle 8. So the middle 8 again is just me messing around. Joe is doing the do, the o, the un, and what I wanted to do was kind of like a call and answer thing that was a bit weird and not just like a j j j. So it's basically the root chord like that, and you play it as quick as you possibly can in the gaps in between where you're speaking. So it's literally just the root chord. One of the type of chords that we use a lot in IDLES is this kind of garagey sounding chord. People like Graham Coxon and Queens of Stone Age use it a lot. And basically you play like a bar chord with like an E shape, but you pull the octave out. So you're not playing the octave, and so there's a normal chord, okay? But if you pull out the octave, you get this weird kind of like, and instantly it sounds like Graham Coxon or Queens of Stone Age. And if you're playing it quickly, it has that kind of real garagey sound to it. So and that is an essential part of the IDLES sound. So that is the chord that I'm doing on this part. And it's just, so it's like the D, the A, the N, the N, the Y. And you just basically strike and go as fast as you possibly can, try and get as many hits as you can in that little space. So I think it's like 2 beats. And one of the important things is like, you can vary it. For example, let's do a straight kind of jigga jigga jig. There's that, okay? And then you've got your up and down, so. And you can hear there's a subtle difference there. Now, if you go up, down, down, up, again, you've got a variance, and you just basically, it's about pulling up and down. And again, it's just about feel. It's kind of like what is happening at that time. What do you want to do? Do you want to make it sound a bit wonky? Do you want to make it sound a bit kind of like things are getting really loose and out of hand, or do you want it to sound really tight and get everyone in together? The bass, the drums, the guitars all in on top of each other, just nailing it. It's vibes.
We're gonna run through my parts for Danny Nedelko. I mean, it's pretty simple. Neither of us are very good at guitar, so we don't write anything too complicated. Go straight in. That's it. I do that 3 times. It's just I don't even know what you'd call it, some sort of arpeggio-ish scale thing. I mean, I wrote it because I like the sound of it. Originally, I wrote it a lot faster, but the boys, John, actually the drummer, was like, what would that sound like slower? So I tried it and it sounded great. But I also do one of the things that we do all the time, which is the double bend. So it's kind of like a run through, and it has to be done at this speed, because actually what is interesting about doing it slower is the resonance you get between the notes. And personally, I don't actually play it perfect every time. I kind of, when we're playing live, I just kind of hit the strings, and if there's some weird sort of miss but hit, it actually makes a nice sound. So if you go, so then I just hit 2 strings. One of them was actually muted, but because I hit that as well, it created an even worse, like, horrible sound. And then it goes into the double bend. So I'm going to play at halftime, I think. There is something I do at the end of the chorus run where Bowen and I do what they call like harmonic-y sort of run. Like Bowen's doing like a triplet run. So on the top of it, I just do a harmonic on the 12th. I just hold that there. So whilst Bowen is moving, that one stays still. And it creates resonance as he's going along. So it just, they start like just going in between each other. And that's that. And then we move on to the chorus. The idea behind this was to have a real joyous chorus, something that was really happy, something we never did before. So we just ran through, I just ran through loads and loads of chords, and then found this little run which was so happy, so we went with it. So I'm going to play this in half speed. We're going to move on to middleweight. Actually wrote this bit on a different guitar which has a trem bar, so it's actually a lot easier to play with a trem bar. So if you don't have a trem bar, you have to grab hold of your guitar and the neck and just push them against each other, and then it creates the bending of the string that it needs. But it's not quite the bending of the string, it's kind of like the bending of the whole guitar, so it actually resonates. So this is played with just heavy fuzz. It's played in sections, so like the first part it goes along with the singing, so I play a single note bend, which is just and then it moves on to the chord. Oh, that's not it, that's the one. And then it moves on into the next, like the outro of it, where I turn off the fuzz slightly, so it's a little bit clearer, and then Bowen and I play together, and it's, and then goes into the chorus again. So I'll play that with the effects, if you can still hear me. I'm also going to have to get in front of the amp because the whole point is to get the feedback from the amp. So we'll do it. So on that last section, so I start with a single note, then move into the chord, and on the last one I just add the pinky on the 12th B, whatever note that is, And then it adds this like sparkly little happiness ending to it, so it cuts through all of that grime and then comes out really sparkly. Also with that, I changed the rhythm of the picking, so it's got a little flick rather than just up and down strokes. It flicks up at the end to give that extra little, and it's like a sort of like in and out palm mute.